So the hens on The View wanted you to believe 2 weeks ago that Joe Biden was fit, he was well, he was in shape, he was ready to destroy 2024. That was all a lie. And now that Joe Biden has dropped out or dropped dead, who really knows at this point, they're forced to suck up to Kamala.
Yesterday, President Biden announced he was going to bow out of the 2024 presidential race, writing in a statement that, quote, "While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." This is what everybody was asking for, and this was the decision that he made. And is everybody okay?
This is the decision that he made, by the way. He made it, okay?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, he's the first president since 1968 to
Lyndon Johnson,
to step down. I think it shows what a statesman he is. I think it shows what a patriot he is. I think it shows that he can put his country before his ego, because he had such a great record as president. I think that history will note him as one of the greatest presidents that we've had. I really do believe that. And I wasn't comfortable with the notion that people were forcing him out. I wasn't comfortable with the cannibalization that I saw in the Democratic Party. But I am comfortable if he made this decision with his inner circle, with Dr. Jill Biden, with his family, and decided to do it on his own.
Yeah.
The fact that he has endorsed the Vice President, Kamala Harris, to be his successor makes it even more clear to me that it's not if she's going to be the nominee, it is when she is the nominee. So
I was sad. You know, as I've said here many times, I love Joe Biden, and I'm full of gratitude to Joe Biden today. So, Joe Biden, thank you for everything. Over 54 years of career. So I was sad, you know, in the way that when you see a champion athlete retire, leave it all on the field, and walk away into the sunset. That made me sad. It gave me nostalgia. I was also mad because
Champion athlete who's been literally racist for most of his career, racial jungle, war on drugs, putting people in prison for super long amounts of time for smoking marijuana. You know, he's not Mike Tyson. He's a career-long politician who's made a fortune, made money, and raised god-awful kids because of politics. This is retarded.
Because he's been dragged relentlessly
Yes.
for 3 weeks by some people who supposedly were his friends. I hope that a lot of those donors that went out and said all sorts of things about him come back with a big check now. George Clooney, es contigo.
yeah.
You know, I'm grateful to his staff. I am grateful to Jill Biden. They've taken a lot of incoming in the last 3 weeks, a lot of attacks. They have been part of a very stable and steady administration. I will always be thankful. They took us out of the hell that was COVID, and they took us out of the hell that was Trump. For that, grateful till the end of my days.
So I am also grateful, and I thank President Biden for his decades of service, but I do push back a little on Anna and Sonny's take on the party imploding. There is room for criticism when you're talking about the biggest job in the world. And I don't think those people that are friends, even George Clooney's op-ed, was really touching and beautifully written, saying this is hard to say out loud. So a lot of those people were torn themselves. And a party, it's not a president, it's an entire party. And every election matters down that ballot as well. They were allowed to also speak up for their constituents. So I commend the people that took that risk and said we need to do this, because I do think...
Look at Sonny's face seething right now that somebody's disagreeing with her.
That began some very hard conversations. But I will say, what jumps out at me is the stark contrast in how Trump handled President Biden stepping down, and how President Biden handled after Trump was, there was an attempted assassination. President Biden picked up the phone and he called the Trump, former President Trump, and he sent well wishes to the family. He right away put out unifying messages saying, you know, we're in this together, we need to tone the rhetoric down. Former President Trump jumped on Truth Social and started to berate him, has continued through this morning. Now, in any competition, when someone gets hurt and they step off the field, now they're no longer your competition, they're just someone on the sidelines. He has continued to drag President Biden in a way that, to me, shows you the difference in what we're dealing with this election and the type of statesmanship.
Oh my gosh. Are you guys hearing this? After Biden has blamed MAGA Republicans, called them an existential threat to democracy, to the United States, for the soul of this country, after Joe Biden has continually attacked Trump and MAGA for the last 4 years, really that's all his administration has done. That's why they're happy. Got us out of the hell of COVID. COVID was light work. That shit was easy. And got us the hell out of MAGA. What? MAGA never left. It was just you had a president who was vilifying them the entire time. That's what made you guys happy. So, wow, great job. And this hasn't happened since Lyndon B. Johnson. That should say a lot, by the way.
Which we haven't seen from Donald Trump ever.
Well, and listen, I think it takes character and integrity to pass the torch to the next generation and to know you've left it all on the field, but that there's someone else who could maybe do this job better. So I commend him. I said it a year ago that the history books will remember him very kindly if he knows to pave the way for someone else to come up behind him. And listen, the reality was it was going to be a really big uphill battle for him if he stayed in the race. And I would look no further than the absolute meltdown that's happening on the Trump campaign right now. The messaging, since it's been pretty clear, Vice President Harris is now the Democratic nominee or soon to be, they don't know what to do with themselves. They planned a whole campaign.
This is such a lie. This is such bullcrap. Do you think that Donald Trump is scared of Kamala Harris? Hillary Clinton, okay? Hillary Clinton would be a better shot than Kamala Harris. 100%. 100%. Hillary Clinton has a better shot. Way more likable than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is not likable at all. And neither is Hillary, so that says a lot. Okay, first of all. Second of all, this dude dropped out of the race after his first term. He dropped out on Twitter. On Twitter, he dropped out. No video, no footage, no nothing. On Twitter. Okay? And we're going to talk about some of the theories here just in a second once we wrap this up, because they are alarming.
Against Joe Biden, not against a female former prosecutor, attorney general, senator, somebody who, well, she's the vice president. There are unknowns there. All their data, all their strategy was built around this man. It's a moment that I feel like people are energized. I'm just feeling something. I think a lot of folks, 6 and 10, didn't want that rematch. We lived through it in 2020. 2020 was a hellish year. Now it's like something totally different. And I'll be honest, I'm just excited.
I think a lot of people are excited.
I'm bored by it. I'm telling you. I'm bored by it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm bored by it. I'm going to tell you why. You know...
This girl last week was just saying that she poops her pants too in order to stand with Joe Biden, by the way. She said, yeah, so what if Joe Biden has poopy days? I do too. And now she's bored? That's funny.
The messaging that we have put out to people over a certain age is horrific. We have basically said, hey, you know what? We kind of think if you're over a certain age, you don't really have what it takes to do the job that you're doing. That's the messaging that we've put out. So I'm bored by hearing that. I'm also bored by people saying, well, you know, it's the next generation. It's still an unknown. We can believe what we like to believe. And I love Kamala and have defended her from day one. I know she can do the job. I would have preferred my Democrats to do this not publicly and in everybody's face, because what it did was it had a sitting having to talk about this endlessly and not being able to say, because we couldn't have two-way conversations about this kind of thing, with just sort of being left. So I'm bored by the oh my God, is what's going to happen? Because I know that the American people regardless of who the nominee is going to be. It's going to be up to the people.
The one thing
And for me, that's why when I
seems
the one thing
disrespectful.
I would,
it was, yeah.
I
Go
would
ahead.
say on the age thing is
Okay, so it's clear that Whoopi Goldberg is also getting dementia. I just want to take a second to look at this girl's face whenever she's talking. This is why you shouldn't be like day drink or something. I don't know what she's doing, but look at her face, who she's rebuttaling. It's so funny.
Just sort of being left. So I'm bored by the
Look at her face. She's like, what? Does anybody know what she's talking about? What? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's good. That's gold. Yeah. And the question that is on everybody's mind, I mentioned it in the beginning, I'll mention it again, okay, is Joe Biden even still alive? This is a serious question, and you guys think this is just a joke or maybe just a conspiracy theory. This is the thing that I'm going to point you to show you the gravity of the situation here, okay? If we look right here, we can see this signature. Who signed Biden's letter? This is his letter saying that he resigned. Okay, you see the letter, you see a signature at the top, and then you see the rest of them. Now see from March 18th, 2024, okay, March 18th to July 17th, they all look pretty similar. And then you see this one, which is the one in his resignation, and it looks really different. Now, I'm sure the White House is aware of Photoshop. This would take 2 seconds to do on Photoshop. Literally, copy and pasting that. So I'm just really confused what signature that is, why it isn't a legit signature, and what's going on there. Those are all pretty consistent. Unless we're going to say that those are all fake and that's the real one. I don't know. But that's alarming, number one. And number two, we have Charlie Kirk talking about how he got an interesting lead on where Joe Biden was. I mean, who doesn't address the entire nation when they're saying that they're not going to be rerunning? Okay. Check this out. Update. I've received multiple emails like this one confirming many elements of the story. Many have confirmed that a call went out to block streets to get Biden to University Medical Trauma Center ASAP, and then the plan abruptly changed and they got him out on AF1 very quickly. I have not confirmed the IDs of these people, but there are an overwhelming number of stories corroborating essentially the same account that I felt comfortable sharing. I have people diving deeper into this now. Right here. Basically, that after Joe Biden got COVID, according to this emergency situation involving Joe Biden, I didn't think, let's look at this second paragraph here. I didn't think too much about this lead, seemed too wild to be true, but given that Joe Biden has been out of public sight for days and dropped out of the race via an X post, and his brother James indicated health was a factor, I'm beginning to grow more curious if COVID or something else has been more serious than reported. If anyone at LV Metro has information, please email me. Yikes, not looking good. And that's sad. That's sad. To need the help, but to need the help probably 6 years ago and not get it because the establishment has forced you into this race. It's really sad. Anyways, that's all we have for today. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.